Friends, this is question number 15 of our Azure Solutions Architect Expert Practice Question and Answer series. Your company has the divisions shown in the following table. You basically have two divisions named East and West. East is hosted in sub 1 subscription and West is hosted in sub 2 subscription. Now, East division uses a intra ID tenant named DevOpsHub.com and West division uses a intra ID tenant named techwithjaspal.com. Sub 1 contains an Azure App Service web app named App1. App1 uses intra ID for single tenant user authentication. Users from DevOpsHub.com can authenticate to App1. You need to recommend a solution to enable users in the techwithjaspal.com domain to authenticate to App1. What should you recommend? Your options are configure the intra ID provisioning service, configure intra ID join, configure supported account types in the application registration and update the sign-in endpoint, enable intra ID pass-through authentication and update the sign-in endpoint. Friends, to achieve this, first you will have to configure supported account types in the application registration and then update the sign-in endpoint, which is option C. Next question. You are designing an app that will be hosted on Azure virtual machines that run Ubuntu. The app will use a third-party email service to send email messages to the users. The third-party email service requires that the app authenticate by using an API key. You need to recommend an Azure Key Vault solution for storing and accessing the API key. The solution must minimize administrative effort. What should you recommend using to store and access the key? Now for storage, you have three options, basically certificate, key, and secret. Folks, API keys are typically stored as secrets in Azure Key Vault. The Azure Key Vault can store and manage secrets like API keys, passwords, or database connection strings. Now the next part of the question is access. Whether it needs to be an API token, a managed identity, or a service principal. And folks, you should use managed identity for the virtual machines. Managed identities allow your app running on the virtual machine to securely access Azure Key Vault without needing to manage credentials manually. Question number 17. You have an Azure subscription that contains 10 web apps. The apps are integrated with Entra ID and are accessed by users on different project teams. The users frequently move between projects. You need to recommend an access management solution for the web apps. The solution must meet the following requirements. Now your requirements are the users must only access to the app of the project to which they are assigned currently. Project managers must verify which users have access to their project's app and remove users that are no longer assigned to their project. Once every 30 days, the project managers must be prompted automatically to verify which users are assigned to their projects. What should you include in the recommendation? And your options are Entra ID Identity Protection, Microsoft Defender for Identity, Microsoft Entra Permissions Management, Entra ID Identity Governance. The best recommendation for this scenario is Entra ID Identity Governance. Now, Entra ID Identity Governance includes features like access reviews, which allow project managers to verify user access to apps regularly. This meets the requirement of prompting project managers every 30 days to review and manage user access. Now, role assignment in Entra ID helps ensure that users only have access to the resources they currently need based on their role or project assignment. This aligns with the requirement for users to access only the app of the project they are currently assigned to. And utilizing automated processes in Enter ID can automate the process of reviewing and updating access permissions, making it easier for project managers to maintain proper access controls without manual intervention. Let's look at next question, folks. You have an Azure subscription that contains 50 Azure SQL databases. You create an Azure Resource Manager template named template1 that enables transparent data encryption, which is TDE. You need to create an Azure policy definition named policy1 that will use template1 to enable TDE for any non-compliant Azure SQL databases. How should you configure policy1? Now, there are different parts of this question. The first one is set available effects to. Your options are deploy if not exists, enforce, regio policy, modify. Folks, you will need to set available effects to deploy if not exists. A deploy if not exists policy definition executes a template deployment when the condition is met. Now, the next part of the question is include in the definition. Your options are the identity required to perform the remediation task, the scope of the policy assignment, the role-based access control RBAC roles required to perform the remediation task. Friends, you will need to include the identity required to perform the remediation task in the policy definition. Managed identity is necessary for the policy to execute the ARM template and apply the remediation. Now, the other two options, which is the scope of the policy assignment and the role-based access control roles required to perform the remediation task, are typically specified when assigning the policy, not within the policy definition itself. So you need to understand what is included in the policy definition and what is used when you are assigning the policy. You need all the three options, but the difference is option A is required in the policy definition and option B and option C are required when you are assigning the policy. Now, the scenario that is being talked about in this question is clearly documented on the Microsoft website as well. There is the link on your screen at the moment. Go through this link to understand how you can implement this scenario in real world. Next question. You need to design a storage solution for an app that will store large amounts of frequently used data. The solution must meet the following requirements. Your requirements are maximize data throughput, prevent the modification of data for 1 year, minimize latency for read and write operations. Which Azure storage account type and storage service should you recommend? Now, the first part of the question is talking about storage account type, and your options are blob storage, blob storage, file storage, storage version 2 with premium performance, storage version 2 with standard performance. And folks, the storage account that you should recommend in this case is blob storage. Blob storage is designed for workloads that require low latency and high throughput, making it ideal for scenarios where performance is critical. Now, the next part of the question was storage service, and your options are blob, file, table. And folks, you should recommend blob service in this case. Blob storage is optimized for storing massive amounts of unstructured data, and it can handle frequently accessed data easily. Azure Blob Storage supports object-level immutability policies, which can prevent the modification of data for a certain period, satisfying the requirement to prevent data modification for 1 year. So folks, I hope you now understand why those two options were chosen as the correct choice. But if you still have any doubts, please post them in the comment section. Question number 20. You are planning an Azure IoT Hub solution that will include 50,000 IoT devices. Each device will stream data, including temperature, device ID, and time data. Approximately 50,000 records will be written every second. The data will be visualized in a near real time. You need to recommend a service to store and query the data. Which two services can you recommend? Your options are Azure Table Storage, Azure Event Grid, Azure Cosmos DB SQL API, Azure Time Series Insights. And folks, the two services that you should recommend in this case are option C and option D, which is Azure Cosmos DB SQL API and Azure Time Series Insights. Now, Azure Cosmos DB is a highly scalable, globally distributed database that can handle large volumes of data with low latency. The SQL API allows for querying the data efficiently, making it suitable for real-time data ingestion and querying. Now, Cosmos DB also supports high throughput scenarios, making it a good fit for handling 50,000 records per second. The next service, Azure Time Series Insights, is specifically designed for storing, querying, and visualizing time series data from IoT devices. It provides real-time insights into the data, which is perfect for scenarios where you need to visualize data in near real time. It can handle high ingestion rates and provide powerful tools for analyzing time-stamped data. Now let's look at why other options are incorrect, folks. Azure Table Storage, while scalable, it's not designed for real-time querying and visualizing of large volumes of IoT data. It is more suitable for simple, low-cost storage of structured data. Then the last option, which is Azure Event Grid, it is used for event-driven architectures and routing events, not for storing and querying large data sets. So folks, if you are liking the content, do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe the channel. You have an app named App1 that uses two on-premise Microsoft SQL Server databases named DB1 and DB2. You plan to migrate DB1 and DB2 to Azure. You need to recommend an Azure solution to host DB1 and DB2. The solution must meet the following requirements, and the two requirements that are given are support server-side transactions across DB1 and DB2, minimize administrative effort to update the solution. What should you recommend? Your options are two databases on the same SQL Server instance on an Azure virtual machine, two Azure SQL databases in an elastic pool, two Azure SQL databases on different Azure SQL database servers, two databases on the same Azure SQL managed instance. Friends, first key to rule out an option is minimize administrative effort, which means we are looking for a managed service. So we can rule out option A, as SQL Server on Azure virtual machine will introduce administrative effort. Now, second key to rule out option is support for server-side transactions. And for that very reason, we will have to go with option D, two databases on same Azure SQL managed instance. Now, a server-side distributed transactions using Transact SQL are available only for Azure SQL managed instance. If the question was talking about client-side transactions, then Azure SQL database was also the right choice. So that is why I stressed upon that server-side distributed transaction is something which is helping us eliminate some incorrect choices. Now, the distributed transactions can be executed only between instances that belong to the same server trust group. In this scenario, managed instances need to use linked server to reference each other. So folks, that's all for this part of the series. I'll be back soon with more parts in our Azure Solution Architect Expert question and answer series. Till then, stay tuned.